Hey guys! Before we begin today's review, I would like you to meet a friend of mine. Allow me to introduce... a cello. I took a cartooning class back in college, and one of the assignments was to take an ordinary object and give it human-like characteristics, like what we see in The Brave Little Toaster or Beauty and the Beast. Other students got things like hair dryers, coffee makers, and I was given the cello to bring to life. I imagined him an artiste, a lifelong lover and creator of fine music, and anything less than perfection was beneath him. Why am I bringing this up? Because I couldn't help but be reminded of him after looking at today's movie. We're going to look at the hero of Color City.
Whenever I'm looking for something to do, a story brings me in.
I know what you're probably thinking. A movie about a bunch of living crayons? This is going to be the dumbest thing ever imagined, and that includes everything else I've reviewed so far. Our movie begins with a little boy partaking in his favorite hobby, drawing and coloring.
That's terrific. And who's that little guy? Kind of a flying thing. I drew him on the same paper 'cause they're pals. Well, pal, you're my flying thing, and you're flying right into bed. You can color more tomorrow. After we clean up this room. Which means you need to feed the trashosaur.
After he gets put down to bed, we see his crayons somehow come to life as they sprout arms, legs, and facial features. How is this happening, you may ask? What else but magical moonbeams?
Up and at 'em, slowpokes. We only got till morning. We gotta be back before Ben wakes up, and 1 minute's gone already.
The animated Titanic trilogy may still be relatively obscure, but it will find a way to haunt your every nightmare. Here we meet our main character, Yellow, voiced by Christina Ricci. And yes, she's every bit as timid here as she was when she played Lily from Alpha and Omega.
It's pretty dark. Nothing to be afraid of. I hope. It's not like I jump at every little...
And frankly, I think it's hilarious that Christina Ricci is not above doing animated kids movies that aren't going to do a whole lot for her career, but she still has yet to appear in any of the Alpha and Omega sequels. I think this is a good time to talk about the animation in this movie. While the CGI isn't exactly what it could be, the animation itself is very expressive. Really, the only problem I can see in it is that they're inconsistent with their use of motion blur. Sometimes we see the characters blur as they move quickly like you'd expect, but most of the movie has this cheap strobing effect going on. Anyway, we then meet the other crayons, and this is the scene that makes me think that this whole movie was some college project that they decided to expand upon. Someone was given Yellow to anthropomorphize, so they make her a coward. Someone else had Blue, so they made him cool and slick. Black is depressed, White is neurotic, since he's almost never used, Red is fiery and sassy, and Green is... obsessive-compulsive. I don't get it.
He never colors inside the lines. Is it too much to ask for my chroma and pigmentation not to be spread around haphazardly? He colors like a 6-year-old.
He is a 6-year-old.
By the way, that's Wayne Brady playing Blue. And how bad is it when a frickin' crayon is not the worst role on his resume? The rest of the scattered crayons convene on their box, and...
Refried bean. Oh, come on.
I agree. You had to make up a completely new crayon just so you could do a fart joke? Come on. Anyway, they all go into their box, which apparently has a rainbowy wormhole inside it. And it leads into... Equestria?
I used to wonder what friendship could be, until you all shared its magic with me.
Okay, so is there a magical city in every box of crayons around the world? Or is every crayon box a portal to a massive crayon-based dimension? What happens to the city once these crayons get worn down and thrown away? Does the city just cease to exist, or is it repopulated by new crayons as they come out of production? Anyway, Yellow gets left behind, and it turns out that magical moonbeams can also bring drawings to life.
Monster!
Huh. You know, at this time of night, I think the moon should be out. I'm gonna see what happens if I take this drawing here and switch out the lights and... Oh my god, this was a bad idea! Ah! The drawings introduce themselves as Nat and King Scrawl, or rather, Nat does the introduction since Scrawl was drawn without a mouth, and they ask Yellow for a little color.
I was thinking of something in a paisley.
What? By myself? I'm not supposed to color strangers. And besides, my tip is all worn out.
Yeah, her tip is more noticeably worn down than those of her fellow crayons. Man, Yellow gets around. She gets away from the sketches and makes it into Color City, and her friends get her to the spa to help fix her tip.
Ma chère Yellow, what happened to you, my gentle blushing flower?
I had an, episode?
Aïe! Look at your tip! It's all flat and horrible. Alors, we fix you in the jiffy. Oui. But not so fast. You do not need the spa.
But Madam Pink, I was used today.
What did you color?
Oh, Ben used me to draw a sheet of paper.
A sheet of paper?
What? No. Oh, yes. Uh-huh. I mean, a cloud.
A cloud?
No. Yes. Fruit.
White fruit?
No. Yes. An apple. Banana. An orange.
Say what?
How many times must we go through this? I know you have not been used.
Have you even kissed a girl before? Mon Dieu, you're pathetic! And no, fixing her tip does not mean that they're going to stick her head in a giant sharpener. How do they get her tip back to the way it should be? Damned if I know. I'm too busy marveling at this magical bubble bath that can somehow change your entire color. And check it out. I never knew that the Grinch had his own crayon. After she gets all spruced up and Madam Pink tells her that she's fine the way she is, kind of a contradictory statement coming from someone running a beauty salon, but whatever, she sings a little song about how awesome colors are.
With colors so bright, oh, it reminds me of spring. And ringing my bell just makes me want to sing. The air is so rosy, so sparkly and light. It's golden all day and deep purple at night. Riding along makes me feel so happy. The city is shining, its colors are snappy. The sky is so blue and the buildings are gleam. If I wasn't awake, I'd be in a dream.
And I gotta be honest here, this song is so catchy that I almost missed how she passes the same crayons multiple times. But then King Scrawl makes his way into Color City, and he grabs Yellow so he can pay homage to King Kong. Didn't he just want to be colored? If Yellow's too scared to color him herself, I get that, but why doesn't she just go to her friends so they can color him? There's really no reason for this to be happening.
Afraid of heights?
Heights, crowds, germs, the dark.
Okay.
Vacuum cleaners, cats, bugs, sock monkeys,
I got the picture.
and trees.
Trees? You're afraid of trees?
They've got pointy branches.
My god, even when she's not Lily, she's Lily!
You're afraid of trees?
They've got pointy branches.
Yellow gets out of Scrawl's clutches, and he and Nat go to what they think may be the source of Color City's colors. Then we get this Jerry Lewis knockoff to tell us why that's bad news for the crayons.
Well, this represents the rainbow, which comes down with all the color and the color falling into the lake, giving us the tinting and all the prettiness in the city, like I said, for living and happy, smiling. Slide number 2, it's thank you. And here we see the color fall, through which the metamorphosis of the double rainbow, or to the lake gives us the color, setting us apart from other art materials like ink blots and lumps of clay and pencil lead. And what do they do with the pastels and the smudging? All right, and the next slide. Assuming the insertion of the monster between the rainbow and the colorful, it's very simple, actually. No color remove. We become transparent.
Transparent? You mean I'll lose my color?
Well, everybody will lose their color. And if we lose our color, we'll cease to exist.
So, if they lose their color, they cease to exist? Aren't they made of wax? So, one doodle trying to get color can somehow drain this crayon world of all its color, and subsequently destroy all crayon life as we know it? How does that work? If you took a handful of crayons and just colored him to his heart's content, that wouldn't hurt anybody, would it? How would that be any different from every other drawing that they've done? What kind of threat does this thing playing in crayon water actually pose to the crayons? Does this affect all the crayons in the world, or just this particular set? Does every heliotrope crayon in the world end up sounding like Jerry Lewis, or is it specific just to this one set?
It just raises too many questions.
So they throw a posse together to get Scrawl before he steals all of their color.
Avast, me hearties! This be our vessel?
Well, Greens, good to see you came prepared.
Oh, indeed. Only the essentials. My cappuccino machine, my bunny slippers, etc., etc.
Hey, didn't you pack anything?
We had to pack? No one told me. Did you pack anything?
Only my sunny disposition.
People, don't freak. I didn't bring anything either.
Well, I hope you at least packed clean underwear.
Of course, 6 pairs.
They're not even wearing pants! Yellow gets stuck on board as she brings them some extra supplies, and no, it never occurs to any of them to just turn the boat around to drop her off. Meanwhile, Scrawl and Nat try to get some color just by swimming in it, but it doesn't seem to work, so they decide to plug up the rainbow waterfall to get the crayon's attention so that they can color them instead. Why didn't you just do that to begin with? And let's not forget that Scrawl got to this waterfall on foot in a very short amount of time. Why do these crayons need a boat to get to it?
To be at sea, the fresh, clean salt air, the gentle swaying of the ship, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Okay. I'll go ahead and believe, for the sake of argument, that these magical moonbeams can give these crayons facial features and arms and legs and other things to anthropomorphize them. But they have digestive tracts, too? What do they eat?
Where are we? According to the map, we're heading down the scary Narrows.
And according to the map, the Rainbow and Color City apparently don't exist. Sure, the names of all these various places are a little bit clever, but what good is this map? They go through some rapids and quickly crash onto shore, and they soon find themselves in a dense fog.
Hey, you're not gonna let some spooky unnatural fog scare you?
Anything could be in that fog. Any kind of creepy, crawly, ooky, slimy monster.
Oh, don't worry. It's probably just you from an earlier roll.
Halt and turn, I have a pistol aimed. Katrina.
They then get chased out of the fog by some more uncolored doodle monsters.
Moo. Yeah, Cal. I really felt the complexity of your backstory and the emotional shading of your delivery.
Why, you're not monsters. Fellas, it was a trick.
No. We really are monsters.
Yeah, I'm a dragon. Fierce, vicious, very scary.
No, your ears aren't deceiving you. That's Owen Wilson playing the dragon. So in the same movie, we have Lily from Alpha and Omega, Daredevil Dan from Food Fight, and Lightning McQueen from Cars. The word surreal has just been redefined, and it's written in crayon. My mind was so blown I even forgot to mention Beast Wars Megatron was in this too. I love the designs of these sketches. Very interesting contrast to these hyper-polished crayon characters here.
We're unfinished drawings.
The unfinished, the not quite good enough. The ones that never made it on Ben's wall or Mom's fridge.
So, how did you end up in the crayon box?
We have to hide here. If we don't, it might find us.
It? What's it?
They tell the crayons of a horrible monster that eats unfinished drawings, which is why they have to hide in the fog. They then offer to take the crayons across the desert so they don't have to worry about melting in the sun.
Hey! This is kind of fun!
We've been out here for hours and I'm only now seeing that this is kind of fun!
This is Rubber Band Ridge. From here, it's just a quick shot to the top of the mountain.
We'll show you how!
I do wish there was something we could do for you guys.
Yellow suggests they give the sketches some color, which for some reason didn't occur to the other crayons, and it's not long before they're finally complete drawings. And yes, I know that you usually color using the tips, but for these creatures, wouldn't it make more sense to color with their hands? What are they supposed to do if they need to color something and there's no one around to pick them up? But yeah, one quick little montage later, the crayons make the sketches vibrant and colorful.
We would have liked to give you even brighter colors, but we are getting paler by the minute.
Hey, don't worry about it. You guys will always have a home in the DC Cinematic Universe. So they use this giant slingshot to fly up to the waterfall. Why couldn't they use the drawings to take them the rest of the way? And they need to come up with a plan to distract Scrawl so they can break up the dam.
And how do we do that?
Well, one of us will have to act as bait.
And I know just who that should be.
Red, you're up! I don't know how this is supposed to be distracting. I don't have boobs! Actually, they figure that Yellow should go in to distract him since he went after her before, but that plan goes south when she gets attacked by... that wastebasket from before? How did that thing get in the crayon box? Scrawl gets in between them, and they duke it out in another homage to King Kong. I mean, the Great Waste just runs away. Well, that was pointless. Yellow thanks Scrawl by drawing a mouth on his face so he can finally talk. A few things about this scene. Is there any reason why she couldn't just do this when they first met? Why were the crayons coloring with their heads when you'd think it'd be easier to just color with their hands like we see here? Why does his mouth suddenly change from yellow to black? They go to the other crayons to help break down the dam, but they spring a trap on Scrawl before he can ask for their help.
Please, listen to me.
You know him?
You mean you? And he? Ugh. Must be a Bob show!
He's not a monster. He's a king. And he saved my life.
What? He did?
He's good and kind, and all he wants is some color. We never gave him a chance to explain. We judged him because we were afraid. I was afraid too. But not anymore.
They all work together to get the river flowing again, with some help from the other drawings who just magically showed up, and all the color is restored to themselves and to Color City. Yay! We're Marvel again! The movie ends as they get back home and give Scrawl and Nat some color. Yellow is lauded as the hero of Color City. The crayons get back to the room before little Ben wakes up, and he doesn't question how his uncolored drawings got finished or how they ended up pinned to his wall. As the credits roll, we're treated to some of the movie's pre-production art, much like that with the first Alpha and Omega movie. But since this movie is actually about creativity, it feels more appropriate here than in that other one. So that was the hero of Color City. And it's surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. This movie does have its problems, but most of them stem from how the filmmakers had some ideas that they didn't really follow through with. The logistics of Color City and the crayons themselves don't really make sense, but it wouldn't take that much more effort to make everything in this world seem more feasible. There's also no real reason for there to be any kind of conflict between Scrawl and the crayons, since it shouldn't have been that much trouble for them to give him some color, but still, resolving the conflict just by talking it out is always a good message to convey. The animation is better than I was anticipating, the voice acting is good, the songs are catchy. Overall, this was just a fun, creative little film that I think is worth a look. This is the kind of movie that you're probably going to put on while babysitting, but unlike too many other movies of that sort, you just might enjoy this yourself. See you next time.
It's not that easy being green Having to spend each day the color of the leaves, when I think it could be nicer being red or yellow or gold or something much more colorful like that. It's not that easy being green. It seems you blend in with so many other ordinary things. And people tend to pass you over, 'cause you're not standing out like flashy sparkles in the water or stars in the sky. But green's the color of spring, and green can be cool and friendly like, and green can be big like an ocean, or important like a mountain, or tall like a tree. When green is all there is to be, it could make you wonder why. But why wonder? Why wonder? I'm green, and it'll do fine. It's beautiful, and I think it's what I want to be.
Oh my god, this was a bad idea! Ah!
Hey, Ricky, I wonder if there's a way to share crayons with children who might not have any of their own.
Huh. What about recycling?
Really? Recycle crayons? How?
Kids, parents, and teachers can collect used but still good crayons. Then the crayon collection will help find them new homes with other boys and girls.
Sounds easy peasy.
Yup. Just go to crayoncollection.org and click on the recycle button to start saving crayons for kids everywhere.
And more crayons mean more drawings. Like us.
Subscribe, like, follow, comment, share, watch more.